What's up, everyone? Thank you for being here. Today we're talking about the 2024 Tenere 700. It's been sitting in my shop for a month since I broke my wrist, and my wrist is feeling good enough to do a little bit of work, and I'm ready to stop seeing this thing all broken. So today we're going to try and put this thing back together using a couple of new parts and mostly fixing what I have already, and try and get this thing ready to ride once I'm ready to ride it. This is definitely going to be a buy as little as possible and fix as much as possible type of project.
came out.
That's how the skid plate's looking. All right, it's day 2. We're back. Yesterday I had some real work show up. We do modifications on camper vans and trailers here in the shop when I'm not doing motorcycle stuff. So I got distracted doing real work, and now we're back on the Tenere. So one of the things I did yesterday was pull off the rear cowling, and it did take some damage, and I'm planning to replace it, but for now I'm thinking we might be able to just fix it with some glue and maybe some zip ties, a little bit of JB weld. I don't know, we'll get creative here, but here's what we got going on so far. So the edge of that little piece there completely detached, and it's what holds all the plastics together. So there's 2 spots where it broke. One's there and then right there. So first thing I did was apply some plastic glue that actually melts the plastic together, and then I actually used some plumber's glue, some ABS adhesive, because these plastics are ABS, and so that's what that black thick looking glue on there is, and we'll see how strong that is. The other glue takes 3 or 4 days to build full strength, so we're going to give it some time before we put it all the way back together. Here's the other side for reference. So we have a clip here and a clip here, and then the third clip here, and they have a little bit of flex to them, but it's pretty rigid. And so this one broke all the way off. Oh wow, that's actually pretty strong already. And then this whole edge, so basically from there down to there, that whole piece kind of detached, but was still hanging on by this little edge there. So I bonded it, and it seems pretty strong. So we may actually put it back together today and just be gentle with it. So that's the rear fender. And here's the second part of the equation. This plastic also took quite a bit of a dent. I don't know if you can catch that, but the 2 sides used to be symmetrical, and this side is now kind of kicked in a little bit. So yesterday what I did was use the heat gun and kind of apply heat all along this edge to try and coerce this back to its normal shape. And it's actually pretty close. So I think once I get all the fasteners in there, it's going to pretty much go back to shape, and maybe I'll kind of apply a little more heat to it and see if that gets it to sit right. This angle shows it a little bit better, so you can kind of see that left side is sitting a little bit down and in from the right side. So hopefully it'll just go back together once all the fasteners are in there. So I found these bars I had left over from when I had my KLR 650. I had bought these. They're the Pro Taper Adventure. So these weren't a great fit for the KLR, but I noticed that they're almost the same profile as what's on the Tenere now. Also, I already paid for them, so they're essentially free. That's what's going to be going on the Tenere for now. All right, so to take the handlebars off, I've got a Phillips 8mm, 6mm Allen, and 5mm Allen. That should be everything I need to get everything off the bars. I do have heated grips on here, so I'm gonna have to take those off of the bars and see about how we can reuse those on the new bars, because those are really nice for cold highway sections. I'm also going to need a 3mm Allen so that I can take off my quad lock. see if we can make these grips pop off. All right, took a little bit of doing, but I got the grips removed. So you can see I got the heated grips. This one definitely broke a wire on there. Let me get you in there so you can see that. So yeah, right here. These are those trackside heated grips. I think they're $29, like Cycle Gear or online. They actually work really well, but this is like the problem because the way the wires are soldered to the grip, it's in a really weak spot and the wire wants to bend right there. So I'm gonna pull these off and see about soldering that back together. If not, it's about 30 bucks to replace them, so. That's crazy. I noticed this hole on the old bars right here where the throttle tube connects and it keeps it in position. So I'm gonna try and just mark that on my new bars and transfer it over. All right, it's a few days later. I had a buddy stop by over the weekend and we did a little bit of work on the bike and I didn't get too much of that recorded. So I'll give you an update on where we're at and we'll keep rolling along on getting this bike back on the road. The first thing that we worked on this weekend is this mast for this bar that goes across. It's basically this whole left side support. And I contacted Yamaha and they don't have this part right now. So for now, I'm just gonna glue this. I went ahead and bought some of this JB Weld plastic bonder and I got this glued on there pretty well. It seems to be holding pretty strong. It's been sitting for a few days now. And I think that's gonna work as a temporary fix. The next thing is the heated grips. It was more work than it was gonna be worth to fix the ones I had on there. I was getting a weird short issue and the local Cycle Gear had them for about 20 bucks. So I went ahead and grabbed a new set of heated grips. And then on this left side, I always noticed that the temperature was a little bit lower. And I think that's because the aluminum bar really does a good job of dissipating the heat. So what I did was I got a really thick heat shrink and I went ahead and put the heat shrink on the left side of the bar before the heated grip. And I'm hoping that that's gonna even out the heat a little because on this side, the throttle side, you have a plastic throttle tube that's acting as your insulator. So now there's an insulator on this side and hopefully that's gonna help. And while I was there, I picked up this little Pro Taper center pad. I've seen a couple of people carve these out on the inside and put a couple tools or something in there, and I think that's a cool idea. Also just kind of makes it pop a little. I really want to protect these wires that go into the heated grips. That's like where the solder contact point came undone last time. So I'm going to double wrap it with electrical tape right where it bends and try and pull it really tight, and hopefully that'll keep the movement in the wire from affecting the solder points. Yeah, that's feeling pretty good. Get an idea how long we want it. When this stuff gets hard to feed through here, you can just like squish, 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 and the wire's just feeding through. Got that second wire coming out. See, I've got my heated grips all tucked in, got this heat shrink, got the anti-chafe on there, and now I'm just going to run this along. And if you do the throttle side, got to leave a little extra so that when you twist the throttle, the wire doesn't get ripped off. And then on this side, this is kind of the finished look over here.